Due to the nature of this episode, listener discretion is advised. Today's episodes includes discussion of mental health issues and school shooting. Consider this when deciding how and when you listen. To get help on mental health crisis, call 988 for free, quality, one-on-one support. Hi, welcome back to Unleashing the Brilliance, the podcast where we explore human nature and experience while learning to live our most authentic selves. I am your host, Amy Bascom. Let's dive in. Good morning. Welcome back to Unleashing the Brilliance. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I would like to thank everyone who listened to the last episode and welcome you to another week. We had a member of our community reach out and ask, how do they handle things when your life is in the shits? When you have a season of difficulties and challenges, how are you able to dig through that to get to your creative brain? So this is a multifaceted question and something I love to talk about. So one of my coping skills is to write. And in this particular person, she wants to write as well. She asks, how do you engage your writing brain when your real life is awful? And now for me, I typically would have written my feelings down. I like to open up a blank page, sit down, and type. Let those emotions out. Put them on the paper. Let them out. Because when you hold all those emotions in and you push them down, push those feelings down, your body translates that into trauma. Your body holds on to it. You have to find a way to process. Sometimes it's writing. Sometimes it's going through the ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's sitting there, thinking about the worst case scenario, writing about it, putting your fears to paper, and then letting it go. I've never actually burned anything I've written before. It's always kind of been my dream of mine. Write all my fears and all of my frustrations and all the hurt letters to people over the years and burn it. Let the energy dissipate. But I've never actually gotten around to doing it. I'm not quite sure why. Another thing that we can do is to have somebody in your life to talk to. This can be a therapist. This can be your best friend. This can be a parent, a sibling. It can be a stranger on a podcast. It can be a stranger on the internet. It can be anybody. But the key here is they have to be non-judgmental. I've learned over the years, I have certain people that I go to if I know I want a certain answer. If I want the answer of, yes, let's go do something crazy. Let's go do that crazy idea. I have a friend I go to. I have another one who is the voice of reason. Who's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Let's take a minute, dial it back, really think about it. Let's talk about it for a minute. Talk the consequences through. You all know that you have these friends. We all have a role in our group. And my role is generally the advice giver. People come to me for advice. What do I do? How do I handle this? What do you suggest? And I've learned to be the advice giver, I have to be a listening ear. And I ask them right up front. I say, okay, I would love to listen to you and help you. I just need to know two things. Do you want my advice or do you want my listening ear? Because those are two different things. Oftentimes we approach somebody and we just want a listening ear. We want to vent. We want to get things out. And instead, what we get is advice. We have somebody else telling us how to feel, how to react, what to do. And sometimes that's not what you need. So whenever I have somebody come to me and they ask me a question like she did, I ask them, judgmental or listening ear? Which one do you want? Do you want advice or do you want a listening ear? In our communication, this member said that she has a listening ear. She has somebody in her life that she can talk to, and then she kind of just started opening up about what's going on in her life. There's some medical diagnosis. She's got family in and out of the hospital. All that is triggering her existing PTSD. And she had a family member who just had a school shooting. And all of that stuff compounded together is truly, truly affecting her. She did let us know that her cousin is okay, but there's a lot of people in that community that she knows. And she is taking on that energy, and she's feeling it, and it's impacting her life. We all do that, especially empaths. So how do you get around it? Well, you really don't. The nice and shitty thing about life is that you have to live it. You have to go through it. You have to feel your feelings. You have to find the lesson, and you need to learn from it. Otherwise, life's going to throw you the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. My ex-in-laws are literally in the same spot that they were 9 years ago, 10 years ago. And why? Because they haven't learned their lessons. Oftentimes, we don't know how to cope. And that's okay. We need to recognize that we can do the best that we can do with the information that we have. But it's also our job, our duty, our responsibility to learn. Reach out. Ask somebody for help. Get a different perspective. Sometimes you just need to vent. You know what you need to do, but you need to work through those feelings. Thankfully, this community member, she's working through it. And I think it's beautiful that she found the strength to reach out and ask for help, ask for different perspectives. Because she doesn't want this to hurt her. But it is. It's at this point in life where we have to do what DBT calls radical acceptance. Now, radical acceptance is a concept that I have been working on for the last, I'd say about a year. It is involving the situations of, I can't change that. I can't change it. I don't like it. You don't have to like it. You can absolutely, positively want something different. And if it is outside of your control, it's outside of your control. Let it go. The only thing that we can do is control ourselves. Control our actions. Control our responses. Everything else, it's outside of our control. She can't help that her family member went through a school shooting. But she can be there. And she can absorb those feelings, which she is. And she can help her cousin. And she can also help herself. But at the end of the day, that is outside of her realm of control. Radical acceptance says that you don't have to like something. You have to accept it. Another example, my ex-husband. I don't like the facts that he goes to therapy, but he doesn't implement it. At least not in his relationship with me. I can't control that. I can't control how he is as a person. But I can control my response to him. Instead of engaging in fights with him. Instead of allowing that to escalate. Radical acceptance says, you don't want to make it worse. Accept it. And it's been really hard for me in the last couple of years to accept the fact that he's probably not going to change. I'm the one that's changing. I'm changing my response. I'm changing how I'm handling things, because that is something that's in my control. The whole purpose of life, when it comes to situations like these that are outside of your control, is to not make the situation worse. If at the end of the day, all you were able to complete is surviving and not making the situation worse, not torturing yourself, not making yourself worse, then congratulations. You're awesome. You accomplished that goal. It's so easy to make things difficult. It's so easy to make things way worse. It's a lot harder to accept where you are and sit with the feelings and dig through. A lot of other people in our community has said to her, our community member, that they write about it. They write their feelings down. And that was one of my pieces of advice at first was for her too, was sit and write with it. Sit with it, write about it. If you want to distance yourself from it, make a character go through it. Work through your feelings. That's the only way that you can heal, is if you sit down and work through your feelings. There are other ways, other tools in our arsenal of skills that we can dig into. And one thing is meditation. You know how fun it is to just sit there or do whatever and just be in the moment? A lot of people misunderstand that meditation. They think meditation is you have to be completely silent. You can't have thoughts. You can't have anything like that. They don't understand what meditation is. And in a future episode, I'm going to have a friend come on, and we're going to talk about meditation. We're going to talk about how do you meditate? How do you do this? Meditation can be anything, really. Anything that allows you to be in the moment. Typically for me, I do meditate usually when I'm doing dishes. I stand in the moment and I feel each dish. I scrub it clean. My mind goes blank. Other times, I sit down, cross-legged, close my eyes, and just listen. Stay quiet. Because when you stay quiet, your mind will start talking to you, and that is perfectly fine. During meditation, if you have intrusive thoughts, or if you have things pop up, acknowledge those existence, put them in a little cloud bubble, and watch them go by. If you do that, you're staying in the moment. Our minds like to shove us around, take us out of the moment. When you think about your past, you're living in your past. You're not in the moment. When you think about your future, you're living in the future. You're not in the moment. Our community member has PTSD, and the situations in her life are triggering that. I've never been formally diagnosed with PTSD, but I do have moments of anxiety and fear. And typically it's when my mind has come up with situations and conversations that have not happened, will not happen, and it freaks me out. A lot of times this happens when I'm driving. And so I literally have to tell myself in my head, hey, where are you right now? Where are you right now? Are you safe? If you're sitting in your car, you're safe. You're not having that fight. That situation isn't happening. You're not in the midst of it. You're sitting in your car. Your hands are on the wheels. Music is coming through your radio. A podcast is coming through your radio. You're seeing cars drive by. So when you start having anxiety and stress, and your mind is starting to go in a million different places, there's an awesome grounding technique that I learned in a variety of situations. And they all say the same thing. Stay in the moment. What I want you to do is find 5 things that you can see. So let's use the example of you're sitting in the car, you're driving, you have this moment of freaking out. You have the moment of, oh my gosh, anxiety, your heart starts beating, you start panicking, you don't know what's going on. 5 things you can see. I can see my bag in the seat next to me. I can look up in the mirror and see the cars behind me. I can look up in the mirror and see my dog. I can see the cars whizzing by. And I can see the dials on my car that have all the lights and stuff. 5 things you can see. 4 things you can hear. I can hear my thoughts. I don't know if that one actually counts. I can hear the radio. I can hear my daughter talking. I can hear the cars whizzing by. I can hear the wind. 3 things you can feel. I can feel the heat from my chair. I can feel the firmness of the steering wheel. I can feel my heart beating. 2 things you can smell. I can smell the yummy food that's sitting right in my passenger seat. I can smell the can of fragrance, the cherry fragrance that I have in my car. And 1 thing you can taste. Taste the coffee I'm drinking. When you do those 5 grounding things, that grounding technique, you pull yourself out of the anxiety, out of the forward thinking, backwards thinking, and you put yourself straight in that moment. And that's going to help your body recognize that you are safe. You are safe. In this moment, you're not having somebody torture you. You're not having somebody scream and yell at you. You're not screaming and yelling. You are safe. We need to remember that feelings are actually very fleeting. We feel the emotions for about 90 seconds. And that is exactly how long it takes for the neurotransmitters to reach your brain. When they reach your brain, you are able to have that moment of making a choice. Do I want to lash out? Do I want to take a moment and breathe? Do I want to say something? Or do I want to let it go? 90 seconds. You know how many feelings we have a day with 90 seconds? Like, that's insane. That is insane. Let me tell you a story. My daughter has been going through a tough time in school. And the other day we went to Culver's. She was having a rough day. They were having an event. So I took her to the event. We ordered a concrete mixer. We split it. And then I had picked up some more pints of ice cream. Sorry, not ice cream, frozen custard. I had picked up some frozen custard just to have for the holidays. I'm obviously recording this before its release, so this is actually in December. She wanted more when we got home. And I had told her, no, you've already had enough. It's getting late. You've already had enough sugar. You don't need any more. We're going to put it away. I went to the restroom, and while I was gone, she dug into it. And I walked out, and I got mad. And I just said to her, what the hell? I took it and I put it in the deep freezer. And she lost it on me. She was screaming and yelling, "How dare you? How dare you do that, Mom? That's not fair. How dare you?" And it was in that moment I had to sit and let my feelings get to me, because my first instinct was to say, how dare I? Yeah, how dare I? How dare I be a good mom and take you to an event? How dare I buy you food? How dare I allow you to have frozen custard on a school night and let you stay up? How dare I? That wasn't going to solve any issues. That was going to escalate it. And in that moment, I recognized it's not about the ice cream. It was about her having a really hard day, not knowing how to process her emotions, hanging on to the frustrations and all the stuff that happened to her during the day. And then the frozen custard, that was just the catalyst. That just pushed it over the edge. And she broke. And when we got home, she was still screaming, "How dare you? How dare you?" And I ignored her. I let her throw her temper tantrum. And when we went to bed that night, I asked her, "Are you feeling okay? Are you good now?" And she's like, "Yeah, Mommy, I'm good." And I said, "Okay, let's talk." And then I drew her this really cool picture. In life, every day, you can be having a great day. Okay? We use the color yellow. You're having a great day. And then it kind of starts to go downhill. So that yellow is starting to turn into orange. And then it goes straight red. You're experiencing the bad moments. You're feeling overwhelmed. You don't know how to handle it. You need love and support. You need understanding. You need your feelings to be validated. You need to know that you are safe. And in that moment, after 90 seconds to feel your feelings, remember, it only takes 90 seconds to feel your feelings. After that 90 seconds, you have a choice to make. Are you going to allow that negative moment to ruin your entire day and make the whole rest of your day screaming red? Or are you going to feel your feelings, feel them for that 90 seconds, accept that what happened happened, you don't like it, you don't have to like it, it's outside of your control, there's nothing you can do about it, and let it go. And then that red moment starts to go back to orange. And before you know it, you're back in yellow. You're back having an awesome, amazing day. And as I'm coloring this on my phone, this cool little app that we've got, she takes my phone, she writes an arrow. And to the yellow, she writes good. And to the red, she writes bad. And she's like, so when I have this bad moment, I don't have to have it make it a bad day. I can go back to having a good day. And I told her, of course, honey. You can always choose to have a better day. You can choose to fixate on this one moment and let it ruin your day. Give it more power than what it actually has. Or you can choose to feel your feelings, acknowledge that this happened, acknowledge that you don't like it, acknowledge that it's outside of your control, and then choose to let it go. She sat there for a minute. She was like, wow, I can have a good day. And I said, yeah. I'm like, honey, you're 6. understand that it's going to take you some time to get used to this. You need to feel your feelings. You're going to take longer than 90 seconds. I mean, I'm a grown-ass adult, and sometimes I take longer than 90 seconds. You definitely cannot expect a 6-year-old to have all these feelings, process them in 90 seconds. Not possible. And so I said to her, sweetie, this is why Mommy didn't talk to you. Your brain was offline. No matter what I said, no matter what I did, you would have not been able to understand what I'm getting through. You're not going to understand what's happening, how I'm trying to help you. So I let you sit there, stew, be angry, feel those feelings, get them all out. Process those feelings so they don't become trapped emotions in your body. And when you are ready, whenever she's ready to talk about it, she always comes and finds me. This time it took her a little longer. It took about a half hour for her to calm down. And she came out and she apologized. And she's like, Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I said, I know, honey. You were having a rough day. I understand. And we talked about it. Teaching kids to have the emotional intelligence to recognize what their feelings are and to feel them, it's going to be a game changer. Total game changer. And that is one thing that I absolutely love about this generation, is the fact that they are very much passionate about so much. My little girl is the sweetest little girl. If you're ever on TikTok, there is this one woman, she's a nurse, and she talks about Gen Alpha, and they call him the honey badger. And they call him the honey badger because they can be the sweetest thing, they look all sweet and innocent, but they are fierce. And whew, raising a Gen Alpha, she's fierce. She puts me in my place sometimes. But she's so passionate. And she's so caring. Like, her emotions are so strong. It's amazing. And I'm teaching her to take those emotions and put them into her art. Just like with our community member who reached out. Take those emotions and put them into your art. Whatever form of art it may be. My daughter loves to paint. I like to write. The community member likes to write. It can be anything and everything. Whatever form of art that you have, whatever way that you express your creativity, channel all of that in, because the more you channel that and you take those energies and put it into your artwork, it's raw, it's real, it's authentic, and it's going to be loved by so many people. Don't ever be afraid to be yourself. Because the people who matter in your life, they don't mind. They know that you're messy. Because they themselves are messy. Human nature is messy. It's chaotic. It's crazy. We're all over the place. And that's part of human nature. Is to not have the answers, to go through trials and tribulations, to learn and grow and do better. In closing, I want to go through things one more time. It's okay to have rough moments. It's okay. You are not weak for asking for assistance, help, support, love, whatever you need to get through your moments. You are not weak. You are resilient. You are strong. You are capable. You are brilliant. Feel your feelings for 90 seconds. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, make a choice. Make a decision and stick to it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what other people think. You make a decision that's best for you. Ground yourself. Stay in the moment. Meditate. Do whatever you have to do to get through those moments. Because at the end of the day, you're you. And that is beautiful. Absolutely nobody else in this world can be you. If you guys have any questions, any comments, if you want to be a part of the show, reach out to me. My email address is amy@amymbascom.com. You can also find everything in the show notes.